What's up guys, welcome back to Powerlifting Series, and today's video is about the deadlift. Okay, so the deadlift, it's the ultimate man lift, right? So you get that high when you deadlift a high amount of weight. Even when you're deadlifting, it's that masculine feeling that you get in, right? So according to me and according to the general trend of fitness and science, the deadlift comes in a close second after the squat to the exercise which involves the overall muscle fibers of the body. Major muscles that you hit will be depending upon how you actually deadlift. So there are two kinds of deadlifts. Here, the bodybuilding or the powerlifting deadlift or the Olympic style deadlift, all of them are kind of the same. Very minuscule differences, which will be, let's just say, from powerlifter to powerlifter or Olympic lifter to Olympic lifter. Okay, but these are not something that can be generalized, right? So there are no generalized differences. Just that there are two different stances which have been generalized, and according to preference, a powerlifter or a bodybuilder can pull, right? So the deadlift can either be pulled conventionally, or it can be pulled in a sumo style, right? So if you see in the picture, you can have a look at the difference between the sumo style and the conventional style. So I'll just tell you about the conventional deadlift first, because I tend to pull conventionally. So during the conventional deadlift, it will be a lot of stress on your lower back. Your mid back and your upper back will be involved. When you're actually pulling, your traps will be involved. Biceps should be minimized when being involved, because you tend to keep your arms straight, but when the weights are heavy, the biceps tend to be recruited as well, because they tend to kind of flex as well when you kind of pull the bar off the ground. Okay, and your hamstrings will be involved. Okay, your hips, your glutes will be involved. Okay, so it kind of includes a lot of muscles similar to the squat. Okay, now generally the deadlift is the exercise in which you can pull the maximum amount of weight, right? And when you're pulling conventionally, it generally depends upon preference of a lifter. But then when you're pulling conventionally, the weight is kind of a little difficult to pull up, because the bar distance that will be traveling from the floor to the end point where you actually lift it up and are comfortable in the finishing position is a little more as compared to the sumo. So as you must have been noticing if you've watched my last video on the squat, you will know that when you actually squat wider, the distance kinds of reduces as you have to sit down. The same thing happens when you go sumo. So your legs will be wider. Okay, so the amount of distance that you need to pull from the floor, the amount of distance that the bar has to travel from the distance from the floor to actually the finishing position, it's a little bit lesser. But then even that little bit counts a lot when you have 200 kg on the bar, right? Even 10 pounds, 5 pounds, hell, even 1 pound matters. If you can actually rep out 1 pound more or lift 1 pound more, it's very, very good for you, for your numbers, for your total. Okay, people beat each other, miss a medal by 1 pound. Okay, so anyways, when you're going for sumo, the major muscle shifts back from the lower back and the glutes to a lot more of the glutes and hamstrings. Okay, because the wider you're going, as I said, you will be involving a lot more hamstrings. So the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back obviously will be engaged, but it shifts from a primary role to more of a secondary role, with the hamstring taking over the primary role. Okay, so sumo definitely will be a little easier to do, a little more preferred by the powerlifters, because the distance obviously covered is less. Okay, especially preferred by the shorter people, because as it is, they're short, the distance is less, and then they have to travel even lesser distance when they're pulling sumo. Okay, so it's kind of a mix. The deadlift champion of the world, Eddie Hall, deadlifts conventional, but then it again depends upon person to person, right? So that is it. And when you're going for a deadlift in a powerlifting meet, basically what happens is you step up to the bar. Again, there will be spotters all around you. Similarly, the referee will give you a signal as to deadlift. you'll go ahead, grip the bar, you'll lift, and when you finish the position, the finished position is that your knees will be locked and your back will be straight, right? So you're in a comfortable finishing position, you're in a comfortable control, okay? You are, let's just say at the finishing position, if you instantly dip the bar, okay, it's going to be disqualified as lift. You need to be in total control of the lift. When you lift the bar off, okay, you need to be in control of the lift, okay? And when you finish, you need to stand there until he actually says down, okay? So when the ref says down, then you go down with the weight, and you don't need to like keep it down. You can just slam it down. Preferably don't throw it down, but slam it down. Be in contact with the weight until it touches the floor, right? So yeah, that's about it. Anyone again touching the weight will be a disqualification instantly. And what happens is, like, depending on the equipment, okay, so sometimes equipment is used. So when it comes to the deadlift, it's not very favorable in using equipment, because the squat again has a positive and a negative motion, okay? I'll use simple languages. Concentric and eccentric is basically the term. Concentric is something where it's the positive part of the motion, and eccentric is the negative part of the motion, okay? So you notice that there is no eccentric part of the motion here. I mean, you're not supposed to slowly lower the weight down, you are just supposed to slam it down, right? So squat and bench press both have concentric and eccentric parts. That's why the equipment or the lifting suits that are used can retain that elastic energy and can transfer it to the lift or to the numbers. Deadlift doesn't have an eccentric, so the suits won't be affecting a lot, okay? So that's about the deadlift. And the deadlift, when it comes to bodybuilders or powerlifters or Olympic lifters, obviously carries or possesses a lot of carryover to actually their own sport. Powerlifting being the core here, like deadlift being the core to powerlifting, but they also, you can see that it is very important to actually deadlift, even if you're a bodybuilder or an athlete, because it has a lot of carryovers to the sport, okay? You might have seen 99% of the bodybuilders actually deadlift, right? And they deadlift a good amount of weight. Okay, because deadlift is not an isolation exercise. It won't be helping you build any particular body part. Okay, you're not going to build your lower back with it. Obviously, your lower back is going to pack on muscle, it's going to get thicker. But then that's not something that people actually achieve. That yes, I want to grow my lower back. You've not seen anyone hear that. But what happens is that your body keeps in an anabolic state when you're actually deadlifting and doing stuff like squats and deadlifts. Your body keeps in an anabolic state. You keep putting on muscle throughout the body, and you keep losing calories as well. So it's very good for weight loss, it's very good for putting on strength, and it's very good for putting on muscle and mass, right? So keep deadlifting, keep slamming those weights, and I'll see you in the next episode.